Hey guys, in this video we're going to take a look at the Ahrefs site audit tool, so stay tuned. Ahrefs offers this really great site audit tool. There are many site audit tools on the web for SEO. There's the crawling spider, which is entirely free, and there are a few others. There's WooRank, but they all are limited in some way. The Screaming Frog application that does a site audit, it's very messy and it's difficult to navigate. The WooRank site audit only does your homepage, which isn't very helpful if you're trying to fix technical issues on your entire website. So I really like the Ahrefs site audit. So you can see here, I already have a project here. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to set up a new project. I'm going to show you the settings that I use. So when you want to do a site audit, they force you to go through the whole project setup. So remember, on the dashboard they want you to set up a project. So you basically have to do that here. So I'm going to show you how to do that. You can import from GSC, and the benefit of that is that the crawls will be faster, but and also you have less likely to get 500 response errors from your server, because sometimes the firewall will activate on this Ahrefs bot because it sees that your site is getting a lot of requests, and that will mess up your site audit. But for the most part, I haven't had any trouble adding it manually. I recommend you just try it manually. If you see some serious issues, then you could try to import your GSC verification to whitelist the Ahrefs bot. So I'm going to go ahead and type in my own website. So the Ahrefs bot is just going to try and access my website to see if it's accessible, and I'm just going to add test here so I can differentiate it. So right away you see a few settings here. Just like in the Site Explorer, you have a few settings. You can choose to crawl the entire site with all the subdomains, just the domain itself without the subdomains, just the path. So if you're trying to crawl your services, everything domain.com/services/whatever, if you just want to crawl that path, or if you just want to crawl the single URL, so if you just want to crawl the home page briefly, then you would choose one of those settings. You don't have to change any of this. In fact, I would recommend you don't. So let's move on. This is just trying to get me to verify the site so it can whitelist the Ahrefs bot. I'm going to skip this. And now here we have the site audit settings. So you do want to go through this and change a few things around. So run scheduled crawls. So I'm going to turn that off. I always turn it off because otherwise it's just going to run a crawl every single week. It's going to eat up my crawl budget. So unless you're constantly working on your website, I wouldn't recommend you run scheduled crawls. Unless you actually have a huge website. In that case, you may want to run scheduled crawls because it's going to take days to crawl your entire website. So I am going to keep this setting in place. We'll run my first crawl now. So let's take a look at the URL sources. I would keep this as default. I have been in situations where the default options would eat up my entire crawl budget for the month. If you are on the light plan, you only get 10,000 internal web pages per month that you can crawl. So I have sites that have a huge amount of location pages, and sometimes I was running into crawl budget issues. So I had to select the custom URL list and just add the core pages of the website, and then just one location page, so that I could analyze if there was anything wrong with the important pages, and without getting into all of the thousands of nearly identical location pages. But generally, for most websites, you're just going to leave the default options. Leave the website, leave the auto-detected sitemaps. That's perfectly fine. Now, here in the crawl settings, there are a few things that you're going to want to change around. I like to keep all of this default, but I do like to change this down from 10,000 to 1,000 because if you do reach 10,000 web pages, you're not going to be able to do any more site crawls that month. You're going to have to wait a full 30 days before you can do any more site audits. And then the last one is the max depth level from the seed. I'm just going to put that to 8. So this is going to limit how deep the site crawl can go into your site. Generally, this won't affect anything negatively, but I like to drop it down a little bit just in case there is something there that will make the site audit go out of control, and then use up my whole crawl budget. I like to keep that low. You notice I keep referencing this crawl budget. It's a big deal because if you mess up the crawl budget and you don't get a good quality site audit, then you're going to be out of luck for a full 30 days until you get another 10,000 web page crawl limit. So I'm going to click continue, and now it's going to ask me to add keywords because it wants me to set up the full project. I'm going to skip through this and this, and it should begin crawling my website right away. I created this test, so if we click into this, you can see that the crawl is starting. So let me go back to my other project. You can see here it's already completed. So it can get a bit confusing here with the site audit, with the site audit tool. Let's see here. If I click into this project, you're going to see something like this, and you're going to say, okay, this is all it's about. No, that's not all it's about. You have to go down here to the crawl log, and this is going to show you the crawl that I just did today. It took 4 minutes and 41 seconds because it's a relatively small site, and you have to actually click on this to actually see the results of the crawl. So once you click on that, you can see your health score, and you can see a number of other tabs here. The ones you're going to stick to are in the All Issues tab, and then you're going to want to sort these by importance. Always start with the errors. So let's go through a few of these so you get an idea of how this works. What I like to do is just open all these up in a new tab, all of my errors, and let's take a look at these one by one. So these pages are returning a 500 error. This may be, like I said, because of my firewall. So I may want to go back and import my GSC verification. So a 503 error is a forbidden error. So if I actually go to this website, I go to this web page, it's likely not going to give me a 503 error. It's likely just filtering out this bot traffic. So I do have some extra security features on my website, so if I want a proper crawl, I'm going to have to import my GSC verification. But sometimes you'll see in your list of issues, you're going to see 4XX error pages, and those are not caused by firewalls. Those are actually pages that return a 404 error or something like that, and you're going to want to fix those. But this is nothing to fix. I just need to verify my website to do a proper crawl. This is kind of the same thing. These web pages are returning 500 errors. Now, this looks a little confusing when you first get into this. So, page has links to a broken page. So all of these pages have links to a broken page. Often you'll see a 404 error here, but I'm seeing 503 errors, which means that my crawl wasn't done properly because my firewall was stopping the Ahrefs bot. But this is how you navigate the site audit. So if you want to fix your web page, you're going to click on the web page that has the problem, and it'll give you more information in this box that slides out. And this box is all about this web page. If I click on this, it'll take me to the actual web page. So if I'm logged in, I can actually edit it. So I am logged in, so I can actually turn on my builder and I can make my edits, and I can go through the issues one by one. To find the issues, you're going to have to click on these tabs. So I'll start with the in links. I'll show you. The in links are my internal links, and you can see that there are no problems there. rather, this is just a list of my internal links. Now here's where it will show you the error codes. Outlinks internal. So these are my internal links again, but now it's showing me the status as well. So these returned 500 errors. So how to tell if your content is being shadow banned? That is something that returned a 500 error. So I just copied the anchor text, and now I'm on the web page. I'm just going to paste it into my Finder here, and so it's going to highlight what link is returning a 500 error. So it's this one right here. We already saw that this 500 error is incorrect, so I'm going to ignore those. You can see all my internal links are in good condition. They're all returning 200 codes. So let's look at my external links. And there's nothing much to see here. I think that I have to go back and I have to run this crawl again with some new settings. As you can see, these weren't crawled. So for some reason, one of my settings stopped this crawl. But this is the site audit. You get the idea. You're going to want to have to go back and redo the crawl if you start getting errors like this. But my website is in very good shape, so there aren't many errors to begin with. Let me go through the rest of these tabs here, and then I'm going to show you how to do the crawl the right way if you run into errors like I just did, 500 errors. So this says orphan page, no internal incoming internal links. So that's fine. This is my 404 page, it's my thank you page, and this is my landing page. So I don't really care if those don't have internal links. So this one says meta description tag is missing or empty. So on these pages, I don't have a meta description set. So what I would do is I would just click on the link to bring up the more information. I would open up the web page. I would go to edit the post. And then I would add my meta description using my SEO plugin. Obviously if you have a hand-coded site, you're going to have to go into the code and specify the meta description in HTML. But I'm using WordPress and I'm using rank math, so I can specify my description like this. So the next problem is duplicate pages without canonical. These are all my category pages and author pages where you see duplicates of my blogs. I don't care about these because these are no indexed. These aren't being indexed by search engines anyways, so I can ignore that. So sometimes you'll come across problems that are not really issues. So here's the 5xx error pages. It's saying that they're in the sitemap now, so I can skip that. So you can see I really don't have a lot of issues on my site. I can sort it by level of importance. The title is too long on these 3 pages, so they're talking about the meta title. You can see the meta title here, and I just want to have to go back into this and shorten it. So to fix crawling issues like you just saw where I got a bunch of 500 errors, there's a few things you can do. Obviously you can verify your site by connecting GSC. You can also go into your crawl settings and you can change your seed depth and things like that. So you can make the seed depth larger. I think that what would help me the most now is to verify my ownership. So this would prevent my firewall from shutting the Ahrefs crawl down. So this is a fairly simple process. I just have to upload an HTML file, connect Google Search Console, or add an HTML tag to my site. If you don't know how to do that, just look up a video. I think the easiest thing to do and the less invasive thing to do would be to just add an HTML file. So that's the one I would recommend. But you can do this any way you want, whichever way is easier. If you add an HTML tag, I would recommend you take that off of your site after you run your crawl, just because these HTML tags will slow down your loading speed. So that is the site audit. That is really all there is to it. And if you want to crawl a new site, you can just go back to the settings and you go to the scope and you change the scope and you run a new crawl. So that is the site audit. If you guys found this video helpful, if you guys have any questions for me, please leave it in the comments. There are a lot of different types of issues in the site audit that require technical understanding of how your website works. They're going to give you errors like this page has links to redirects, and it's going to show you that these external outlinks, outlinks external are showing 301 errors or 302 errors, and so you're just going to have to replace the link inside your blog or your web page with the new link. That happens very often. Websites are always changing their URLs, especially these government websites and these science websites, because they don't really have a good understanding of SEO. So you're always going to be changing redirects. Just let me know if you have any other questions, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thanks.